So something that we started last Sunday was we're going to start going through every position group on Nebraska's football roster going into 2024. We're going to give a little preview, kind of some things I like, some things to expect, and go kind of a little bit on some players. Today's group is going to be Death Row, aka the 2024 defensive line. So we're going to go through this. Yeah, this is a group I feel very, very, very good with. And you're going to have to excuse me. I do have a lot of notes, so I am going to kind of look down. I try to look here, but like I don't have everything memorized. Forgive me. This is a group I feel very good about. Led by our great defensive line coach, Terrance Knighton, aka he calls himself the CEO of Death Row. Honestly, Coach Knighton is one of my favorite coaches on staff. Just the energy he brings all the time. The moniker CEO of Death Row is just freaking sick, right? And just how hard he works recruiting, the development of players that we saw under him through year one. This is honestly, this defensive line unit is going to be one of the strongest in the entire country, not just the Big Ten. I think this is going to be, again, ranked very high nationally. This year's defense, especially defensive line, is anchored by a lot of returning starters, and a lot of guys just maybe they didn't start, but like they got a lot of key snaps in 2023. The 2023 defensive unit was one of the best front sevens in the entire country, and we bring back so much talent. There's no reason why we're not going to be this year. There's no reason why. And all overall, the defense was really good, but all of that starts up front with our big boys, and that's what we're going to go over today. That's why I'm starting with defensive line. Um, Again, like I said, Coach Knighton is one of my favorite coaches on staff. He's won me over completely, pretty much since day one. The first time I met him, had a conversation with him, I really liked him. Then just started watching some of his stuff, and I was like, wow, this guy does. Crazy to think how much our overall defense has improved, but especially up front. Going into year one, a lot of the talking heads in Nebraska Nation kind of said like one of the weaker points of the defense may end up being our defensive line. And boy, were we wrong. That's probably the best part of our defense, right? And I say Coach Knighton deserves a lot of credit for that. In the 3-3 stack scheme Nebraska has transitioned to under Tony White, having a lot of strong but versatile linemen is key to this. One of the sayings, I personally coached in a 3-3 defense, and one of the sayings that goes on with 3-3 stack is you never get the same front twice, right? That just goes to show how many different ways you can bring pressure, and understanding angles is so important. As a coach who has also been an offensive coach and coached against the 3-3 stack, if you don't identify and communicate effectively, the offense is in for a long, long day. Even man, you're just going to be confused and helpless out there. And I'm telling you, as a coach who's dealt with this, you got to be able to do that. And with the amount of ways that we can bring pressure under this defense and the athletes that we have, is I expect a big thing. The best news that with this group is we bring back so much talent, and honestly, I don't see any real weaknesses with this group personally, at least on paper. On paper, there's no real weaknesses. In my opinion, this defensive line unit is our best unit overall on the whole team going into the fall. I don't think that's a hot take, but you never know with you guys. That last year we were already a number one or a top 10 defensive rushing team in the country, and bringing back pretty much all our key players is so important in today's world of college football with the transfer portal, NIL, just craziness of the world. Bringing back so many key guys is so important. That's something I'm really happy with. Some of our potential, I'm not saying there will be, but potential depth issues in the secondary, I expect this defensive line and on linebackers right back in this in the 3-3 stack, but focusing on I expect a lot of more pressure this year. They were pretty good on it last year. I'm not saying that, but like I expect a lot of pressure just to limit coverage breakdowns in the secondary. I mean, that's football 101. I know not all you guys are coaches, but I'll explain it. Like if you have some limitations in your secondary, the easiest way to try and go around it is to just bring pressure and don't let those guys get beat. Make a quarterback make a rush decision, and yeah. The good thing about this defense is I can't even say the good thing. There's pros and cons to everything, but something with our defense as I go through my projected starters is, especially on our defense, the whole starter and backup titles don't mean as much as it would at other countries, other teams in the country, minus the potential black shirts probably. There's a lot of rotation with this group, especially the D line. There's a lot of rotation, and I'm totally good with that because with the fresh bodies that we bring in the 3-3 stack, again, as the fatigued O lines have to go through with our 3-3 stack, with all the different angles and ways we're bringing pressure, they have to start thinking. And then when they have to start thinking, football, especially with the O linemen, if you've understood it, you've played, you'll understand enough that like you don't want to make those big guys think very much at all. You don't want them thinking, you just want them going out and doing. And when they have to start thinking, and we're also bringing in fresh bodies, and not just fresh bodies, fresh able bodies, like good bodies to bring in, that's going to be a problem. I expect Hutmacher and Robinson to be all Big Ten guys, but I will say, with as much as we rotate, their statistics they're not all the way up there just because we rotate guys so much, just because that's our scheme. So might not see any big stats from one particular player, but I still expect those guys. Like I said, other than the black shirt that you can potentially get with it, there's no real. If you're second guy in the rotation at a position, you're still getting a lot of playing time in our scheme. Ty Robinson is a lock for defensive end starter. He's going to be potential NFL guy, and I say he's a favorite to make the All Big Ten team. He's already a star in Lincoln, and I expect huge things from him this season, especially in key moments, especially, big third down. I expect him to make big plays this year. Nash Polar Bear Hotmocker is the key to this defense, in my opinion. Having a beast as the anchor of your defense is such a big key, and having 8 TFLs last season is amazing. Hutmacher is another guy that I'm expected and excited to see on Sundays as I continue to grow older. At last DN spot is, I think, up for grabs in terms of who's starting. In my opinion, it comes down to Jamari Butler and Cam Lenhart. Lenhart was a beast as a true, or might not be a true freshman. Don't hold me. He was a freshman last season. Until the injury that came through, and then Butler came in and ended up being a beast. He ended up leading the team in tackles for loss, which is a really big deal, especially when he came in after the injury. Both are capable, and both will get a ton of snaps. Like I said, they're both going to play a tremendous amount. Right now, I'm leaning towards Butler getting the starting role just because he is a little bit older, and I mean, he finished the year so strong last season. But I also expect Elijah Judy to be a dark horse to be making plays in the fall. I'm not sure if this is a Terrance Knighton decision or a Tony White decision, but he plays in such a variety of spots on our defensive line. And I think it's particularly when they find a matchup on the O-line that they think he can take advantage of. So he's a very versatile guy in the 3-3 scheme, especially on third down. Is perfect for our defense. Riley Van Poppel is another guy to watch. He played in 11 games last season, and I think he'll especially be big. I think they'll use him again in a similar role in short yardage and goal line situation when we call in the big boys. So those are kind of the things I expect from our defensive line this season. I expect a lot of big things from the death row unit this season. With so much great production coming back and experience, I think this will be a really good unit. Let me know, what do you guys think of this unit this year? To me, I think, wow, how great is it to feel good? I feel good about our offensive line, and I feel great about our defensive line. How good of a feeling is that after what we've been through the last 5, 6, 7, I don't even know how many years? How great of a feeling is that? So I feel good about this group, but I would love to hear what you guys think.